Okay, we will call this regular meeting of the Libertarian Party of Ohio's Executive Committee to order. It is 10:05. We do lack the presence of our regular secretary at this meeting, so I will go ahead and call the roll. So, Jim Cavoli, myself, present. Patrick Glasgow, not present. John Moeller,
Present.
Jennifer Flower, not present. Dustin Anna, Mr. Nana,
Here.
and Christopher Gill,
Here.
and Mr. Strillo.
Here.
Okay, does anyone have any disclosures, conflicts of interest to lay out for the body? Hearing none, move to the adoption of the agenda previously distributed via email and other means online. Does anybody have any revisions to the agenda as previously distributed? All right. We can move to approval of minutes from previous meetings. I believe those were distributed.
Haven't seen them, but I also haven't looked that hard for them. So
All right. Let me verify that momentarily. Okay, we do not have minutes from the last meeting available yet, so we'll go ahead and move on till we have Ms. Flower back to speak to those. Get back to our agenda.
Mr. Chair, how many times has it been that we have not had minutes for a previous meeting? Because I want to say this is like happens almost every time.
I do believe this is only the second occurrence. I may be wrong on that. I will get into it.
Okay.
Um, Otherwise, review of business conducted between meetings. Don't believe we had any business between meetings. We did not. And that brings us to reports from party officers. The office of the secretary has no one present, submitted nothing in writing. Office of the treasurer, Mr. Moeller.
So I have the financial reports from year to date through the end of July in the meeting folder. There's nothing significant to report. We have around $25,000 currently in our combined U.S. bank accounts. Year to date, we've raised a little over $27,000 of our $30,000 budget, which is ahead of pace, and we continue to trend in good directions there. And we filed the two reports, campaign finance reports that were due, the Ohio semi-annual report and the mid-year FEC filing in July. That's about it from the treasurer.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions or concerns for the treasurer's office? Fabulous. Move along to the office of the vice chair, which has no one. Actually, Helen, you are the Deputy Vice Chair, do you have anything to report from the Vice Chair's office?
No, just that we have several counties that are either currently scheduled for their formation meeting or are getting very close to it. So I'll try to provide you a comprehensive update that you can provide at conference.
Well, I appreciate that selfishly. So I don't have to try and divide all of that on my own. Anyone have any questions or concerns for the Vice Chair's office? I will note that the Central Committee is currently in, processing the resignation of Mr. Glasgow from the Vice Chair position. That is expected to encounter no major resistance. I would like to also take this opportunity to thank Patrick for his immense service to this body and express my regrets that he does not feel equipped to give the role his all in the ways that he thinks it should be done presently. But there's certainly no hard feelings and a lot of great work that is much appreciated. I'm sure we will get another good vice chair in place and continue the important work of growing the party in Ohio. Otherwise, there is little to report from the office of the chair presently because it has been very busy with principally conference activities. I think we're all set. The food orders have been put in. We sold a couple more last minute tickets and very much looking forward to that event next week and certainly hope to see all of our members there. If anyone else would like to buy tickets at LPO.org, we've got a few last minute spots still available.
Have we gotten the rooms situated for the speakers that will be needing rooms?
Sorry?
Have we gotten the rooms situated for the people that will be needing rooms, the speakers that will be needing rooms?
I do not. I don't think, well, I'm not sure. I will follow up on that. That was, I think we had three, right? Two?
Um, well, Ken doesn't need one. Evan's doing virtual, so I don't know. I think Travis needs one. Um, and I'm forgetting someone, but yeah, I mean, two or three or something like that.
We had a budgeted. We'll do that. Yeah, I guess there really isn't another opportunity to discuss the conference. If anyone has anything, I'd be happy to take any questions or other comments at this point. There's nowhere else on the agenda that it fits.
Um, when do you want to? When are we doing awards? Since the awards committee never really met, or do we just want to not do it this year?
There were a couple of nominations received. There were not a ton, um, but I'll send you an email separately about that. That's the words are set for Saturday night in any case. Right. The other, I guess, bigger thing that been working on is on the agenda a little bit later this meeting. Which would be ratifying the revised SOP manual. Um, we can get into this a little bit more later, but basically lays out a new format for that, hopefully in a way that allows us to more clearly organize some of the materials that are in the SOP manual, and hopefully let us keep better track of that and keep it more up to date going forward. That has been a lot of work. I'd say it's still, I mean, it's a living document. It's always work in progress. Outside of those things, I'm dealing with staffing. They have not much else to report other than the fact that we did file an application for writ to the Supreme Court. This is stemming from the boards of elections cases in 2018. Harold Thomas being the named party on that appeal. We anxiously await the court's answer as to whether writ will be granted for that case. Details are in the drive, and of course the petition is public. Anything else for the chair? We'll move to national committee members. Dustin, with LNC Region 3.
I really don't have anything to report. We're having a LNC meeting at the beginning of next month in Louisville. That's pretty much it.
Sounds exciting. Old business. We have nothing eligible to be considered. The Accountability Now Ohio ballot initiative remains non-final, which will take us into new business. Start out with the revised SOP manual. Give me one moment. Pull that up and we can discuss. Thank you for bearing with me as I work through not my usual setup for the tech. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and share my screen to present this. As you are all familiar, we have a standard operating procedures manual, which is required to have within it a whole bunch of stuff by bylaw, and we've been working off of what was essentially just a copy of a Google Doc that had been passed around for a minute. And what I've done here, as the executive committee is given pretty broad discretion over how standard operating procedure manual is organized and distributed. In our publications site here, I've gone ahead and made the standard operating procedure manual a shelf of technically three different books. These are the three main sections of things that can be a part of the SOP manual, which namely policies, procedures, and then directives. Some of this is more exciting than others, but directives would basically house the active directive or the archive of past ones from those officers which are empowered to make them by bylaw. Procedures, of course, gets into the how to do the thing, the work guides, and so on and so forth, and policies covers the majority of everything else that we have put into the SOP manual that covers day-to-day operations and various things like our acceptable use policy for technology and our inclusiveness policy. which have been updated and renumbered into new sections. So rather than these all kind of hiding in the sections for their respective maintainers, that structure has been replicated here so that you can go see just that set of information and so on. I will freely admit that 100% of what was contained in the old manual is not quite yet in the new format. And with that being said, I will go ahead and take any questions, comments, or uh, motions to table it because it's not technically 100% finished. However, the group would like to proceed.
Why don't we just, you think it'll be ready by the next meeting?
Yeah, maybe even between, but I did want to have the opportunity to at least present the design of the thing for
Trying to
feedback.
think, I don't think I can proceed. I don't know if we can procedurally table it until it's complete. I would like to do that, but I don't know if it's correct. So why don't we just, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to table it without making it so that we can't consider it until the next meeting if it gets done before then.
You could table it to between meetings.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do that then.
All right, so I heard a motion to table consideration of the adoption of the new standard operating procedure manual to the between meetings
Second.
session, or the next time it is on the agenda regularly. Is that about right, Dustin?
Yeah, you got it.
Was there a second?
Yes.
Second.
Any objection? All right, we shall move along. Motion carries. Now we'll move along. 2022 LNC Convention Platform Committee. As you all are hopefully aware at this point, Ohio has a seat and ranked alternate slots to fill on the 2022 National Platform Committee. We have had some jobs board postings up soliciting applications for this and the other national committee role for about, I think, 3 weeks now, 4 weeks. There has not been a lot of interest that people have actually put in. So I would like to start by asking if there are any members who are aware of someone else who may not have completed that application that has expressed an interest in this committee.
No, other than myself, no. Should we, do we want to wait and see if we get applications? I mean, I don't, does the body want to wait, maybe table this until between meetings and see if we can get applications for it? Or do we want to just move forward?
For information,
Because we can
roughly
now.
how many applicants do we have? Is it like two for each position? Because then I would want
There
to
are
table it.
two
But if
people.
we already have, go ahead.
There are two people who have. There are 0 people who have filled out the form. There are 2 people who have expressed an interest in either of these committees. Both of them are on this call.
I would say, unless we're ready to move forward, that we wait, then maybe we can announce it at conference and then more people will hear about it.
I think that's a good idea.
Fair enough. That seems a
Otherwise,
reasonable way to proceed.
yeah.
For anyone asking, right, there's the, just so that members know, there is the actual seat itself, the named committee member, and then we have the option to use ranked alternates for actually both of the platform and credentials committee seats, I believe. And typically we would I would like to appoint not more than 2 ranked alternates.
Yeah, I was gonna say
First
we could codify that right now. That's something we could do. We could make it so that we select the number of alternates right now, and we could just say up to 2 or whatever. I think 2 is plenty. Honestly, we probably don't even need more than 1, but 2 is fine too.
Yeah, the second alternate is frankly mostly just useful as a way, especially if there's someone who's fairly inexperienced but really wants to get some exposure to that piece of the party's operations, that having the ability to be in those meetings, observe the process, and rarely, if but for the sake of the record, enter your opinion in votes, be perfectly fine. So is there a motion regarding these seats?
Yeah. So I move to cap alternates for both positions at 2.
All right, so the motion is to see that the executive committee will appoint up to 2
Up to 2.
ranked alternates for the convention platform and credentials committees. 22. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any objection to the motion as stated? Hearing no objection, the motion carries. Anything further with respect to, honestly, either the platform or credentials committee seats? Right, hearing nothing further there, we will be moving along to new business from the floor, if anyone has any to bring.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Skilson.
do we want to address the strategy that we had discussed in executive session previously?
I have zero desire to do that openly at this time. If you would indulge me a brief sidebar about that following the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, I guess we could go into executive session, but I'm not sure. Not sure the body desires that right now.
Second call for any new business from the floor.
Yeah, before I forget, are we still thinking about ordering t-shirts so that we can distribute them to the counties for their outreach events so that they're a little bit more visible?
That was something that had been discussed. I don't think we have actually, I don't think anyone has opposed that, and I don't think any work has been done to actually make it happen either. Was
Right.
there a particular timeline we were trying to get that done on, or just?
We're really trying to have it by the middle of this month, but obviously that's not going to happen. But ASAP, I guess.
All right. I mean, we can discuss a little bit more outside of this, or I mean, ideally, if we had the finance director who was overseeing the shop and whatnot, that would be a good person to
Yeah,
talk
I'm
to
just
about
thinking,
that.
seeing as how we've got a decent amount of money in the bank, now would probably be the time to do it. And then we're gonna
Yeah,
going into conference, and then we should be able to raise money from that as well. And we're in a good financial position, at least currently.
yeah. And you were looking for like a design other than the current like LPO.org like shirt that we have up right now.
Yeah, just something, something simple, something not too crazy that would just say, whatever. Something generic, obviously, so that every county can use it. And, or even could be customized by county, and then the county pays for a portion of it or all of it or whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just something that's been discussed in the last several
Okay.
meetings, I know, at least from Delaware County, that we would like to have shirts. Don't have enough shirts personally to give to everybody, so, and I don't have the correct sizes either. 'Cause obviously, I don't wear a women's small, so can't really provide all the shirts for the people, at least in my county.
Sure. What we have already in the chat, and otherwise, if there's particular designs or something that needs to happen, we can get that going. Hopefully as a development activity in the sense of affiliate support,
We
whatever.
can
I
approve
really
it
think this
between
can,
meetings. I mean, I just want to know
yeah,
that before I go waste my time designing a t-shirt, if I decide to do that, I just want to know that we're going to approve it and I'm not wasting my time. That's pretty much where I'm at with it. So, I mean,
would
just,
you like to make a motion authorizing some initial quantity of shirts be produced?
um, yeah, I move that we obtain 15 t-shirts for outreach among county parties, I guess would be the best way to word it. I'm flexible on the number, but 15 was just the first thing that popped into my head.
Okay, the motion is for 15 t-shirts to be produced for that to be shared amongst the counties or to be distributed
To be
to,
distributed specifically to counties that ask for them to keep.
okay.
Are you talking
Motion,
15 per county, or are you talking 15 total?
No, just 15 in general to start, and then if we need more, we need more.
the motion is to produce a quantity of 15 t-shirts in varying sizes for distribution to counties for their events and operations. Is there a second?
Sure, second.
All right. Any discussion?
So Dustin, are you going to take it upon yourself to create the logo, the design?
Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. It just depends on how much time I have. I'm, as you guys are aware, involved in a campaign down here for city council, and I'm also on board of zoning appeals. So we'll see if I have time. Um, Perhaps if I get extra time, we just created door hangers earlier this week that I helped design. We are in the process of creating a t-shirt for the campaign. We're also in the process of creating a logo for the yard sign. And then yesterday we just had a meeting with one of the candidates that's running for at-large down here, and we're kind of working together. We're sharing walking lists and stuff. So um, if I get extra time outside of that, but that is going to take priority. I can also, the Delaware meeting is a week from, it's actually less than a week from now. It's like 4 days from now. So I can ask some people at the Delaware meeting if they'd be interested in helping design it as well.
Yeah, I think going forward, if counties just request a specific quantity of shirts, as long as it's not something crazily unreasonable, I think this whole committee you know, would approve that. So that's probably the best way to do it going forward is just have counties request what they need at the time instead of pre-approving some quantity of shirts that we
Yeah.
give out the first come first serve. Just have people ask.
Yeah, that was my thought. Just get a few of them in our hands, and then as we go, if we need more, we order more.
The shirts that we have for Mike Maines and Joe Combs, it's an attractive style and quality shirt. So like campaign shirts, usually they end up either hidden in a drawer or back of the closet, but these are comfortable and attractive and good quality. So I'll, continue to wear it just because they're a nice shirt. So I would recommend doing something like that. Does anybody know what they look like? Have you seen them?
I'm
Just say elect Mike Maines or re-elect Mike Maines and elect John Combs or whatever his first name is, Combs, right?
Well, it's the style of the shirt that's more concerned. The material and the colors, the side panels are the gold and the shirt is gray kind of thing.
that sounds pretty fancy. I mean, especially given I don't know if you know what style or numbers are associated with that, but the bog standard t-shirt du jour that we're fond of using as the base is the Gildan 64,000, which is a unisex soft style basic t-shirt. In any case, further discussion on the motion at hand, which I will remind everyone is to authorize the purchase of 15 t-shirts in assorted sizes for the use to be distributed to counties for their use in their operations. Hearing nothing further in discussion, we'll move to a vote. Is there any objection to the motion as stated? All right, hearing none, it is unanimously approved. And let's note for the minutes that we're all big fans of shirts. Anything further new business from the floor? We have a bit of time left in this section. All right. Hearing no further new business from the floor, we move ahead to the closing of this meeting, which is set to begin with 10 minutes of public comment. I will note there is no one at the office, and I don't believe anyone actively viewing live online presently. Maybe one. We are technically obliged to wait otherwise. 10 minutes from now is 10:49, so
I will move to end early.
all right, I heard a motion from Mr. Strillo to, in light of the absence of any members of the public looking to comment, close public comment immediately.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, is there any objection? Without objection, the motion carries, and we can set the next regular meeting of this body.
I move to set the next meeting of this body for Saturday, September 18th at 10 a.m.
At the office and online by the usual
At the office and the usual online places, yes.
What was that? What date? I'm sorry.
September 18th.
Let me check my calendar. Hold on.
I'll note that the 11th and 18th both. I will be unlikely to attend.
What about the 25th then? Honestly, it's all bad for me now that we're getting into campaign season. We expect our signs to be here sometime around or before the 17th of next month, and then we're going to be planning signs for sure that next day. So the 18th would be bad for me too, for sure. But I'm not sure about the 25th might be a little better. We'll see.
So do you want to amend my motion? I'll rescind my motion. How's that?
Yeah.
I think your motion just died.
Yeah,
it's
for lack
dying
of
for lack of a second.
If we're gonna do virtual, who says we have to do a Saturday? But that's up to you guys.
I do agree.
With my traveling, there's no guarantee I can be anywhere on Monday through Friday at a specific time.
Doesn't seem that anybody's coming to the office anymore anyhow, just to be frank about it.
Right. But what I'm saying is I have to drive city to city too. So there's no guarantee that
I got you.
I can sit
I
on
got you.
the
That makes more
7
sense.
o'clock on a Wednesday. There's no guarantee.
I mean, the other consideration is with the remote options. Even if we did go for a Saturday, there's no reason it has to be sort of the prime time middle of the day, especially looking at campaign season going on here. We could go for like an evening time or a much earlier morning time, whatever people would prefer, trying to leave some space for folks to do, other useful activities like campaigning and outreach at various events that are starting to actually happen again on the weekends.
Yeah, I'd be okay starting earlier, like an 8:30, 9 o'clock type time. I mean, this meeting hasn't even been an hour yet.
It's been a couple months since we ran past.
Let's do. All right. Well, let's do the 25th at 9 o'clock then.
I second Dustin's
There's
motion.
a motion made to set the next regular meeting of the executive committee to be September 25th at 9 a.m. at the electronic. I will assume, unless that's rescinded, that the motion is made and seconded. Moving along, any discussion?
9 a.m. was it?
9 a.m. Is there any objection? September 25th, 9 a.m. will be our next meeting then. Brings us to the conclusion